So first, I would like to cover with the networking concept on AWS cloud. So which is we call it as a VPC, virtual private cloud. So let's discuss some points about it, and then we will implement a diagram, and then we will do a practical. Actually, whatever we want to do, create anything, any infrastructure or any network. It could be a data center, or it could be a single server, or it could be on the cloud also. So we need a five components. These are the five components. You can say key components. So without these things, we cannot achieve a communication to a server or placing the server into a networking. Okay, it is not going to happen. So we have to go through these five components to be integrated. Okay. The first one in the cloud is VPC. So we are talking about the VPC itself is a one component actually, and internet gateway. So this is a second component. So which is help us to make or establish a communication between internet to the our project. Okay, and subnets. Subnets are inside sub network groups of the VPC, and route tables will behave like a route map. Okay, so any request comes, it has to direct through the a destination, source to destination. So that is going to happen through the routing table. And coming to security group, group is going to be responsible at your instance level for secure your instance on a protocol, like at layer level. Okay, so who wants to come inside the server, who can allow or who can not allow inside the server. So those kind of actions we can define at security group. Okay, and these are the interview point of view. Okay, so in interview also many people are asking that, so hey, what is VPC actually? So VPC is a logical boundary we are creating on the AWS, followed by a CIDR. Okay, so that we create for our infrastructure, for our project to build. So it's a logical boundary. And coming to VPC will have five key components. With them only we can able to create a VPC. VPC, internet gateway, subnets, routing table, security groups. That's it. No need to explain much about it. Okay. And hey, is VPC is region specific or region is VPC specific? This is the question asked in many interviews. That means VPC is a virtual private cloud. It is an isolated network in the cloud. So that means the separate area we are creating. VPC is a region specific. It is not a VPC specific. That means inside the Mumbai region, we will create a VPC. But inside the VPC, we will not create the Mumbai region. Okay, so that is the difference. They're confusing actually. Interviewer is trying to do confuse you. So VPC is a region specific. Inside the region, we create the VPC. And every region has one default VPC. We shouldn't delete that. Okay. We are logging into the AWS console, right? So how that console is happening to us? How that console is loading to us basically? Because of the default VPC. Okay. So we are creating a server. Last class also I have created one server. Where I am creating? Where is a platform? Default VPC. Okay. Every region will have one default VPC. And suppose if we accidentally deleted this default VPC, we have to raise a support actually. Or you can create your private VPC and you can work on. But whenever you deleted this default VPC, few services you can't access. So it's better to not to delete this default VPC always. And it is free of cost. Under your free tier account, you can create 5 VPCs per region actually. Okay. And VPC is having a CIDR notation. you can see slash 16. So with this boundary, I am defining a range. Like it has to be this much range, a small range, big range with the CIDR. Okay. So to this VPC, I'm going to connect internet gateway. Okay. So internet gateway is actually used to establish the connection between internet where end users like who are using mobiles, laptop, they're trying to access the application, right? To internet to the our project. And it is also region specific. And every region will have one default internet gateway and it is also free of cost. And it will have a CIDR. So 0.0.0.0 slash 0 means anywhere in the world. There is no restriction anywhere in the world CIDR. So internet gateway has to be accept this one. And we can create multiple internet gateways under one VPC and we can attach to it. And one more, internet gateway should attach with the routing table because it has to route where it has to go, the request. You'll get a clarity in the diagram. Let's see. Again, coming to subnets. Subnets is a sub network inside a VPCs. We can create multiple subnetworks, and subnets are availability zone specific. Okay, subnets are availability zone specific. Inside the VPC, we will create a logical group by using availability zones. Okay, so subnets are also having CIDR, which is slash 24. It is free of cost, and we need to attach subnets with the route table. Okay, because inside the subnet only we will create the servers. So we need to map the route table for it. Every region will have a multiple subnets, and every region will have a default subnets also. Coming to route table. So basically route table is in general term, I'll tell you, it is used to route your way. So when you went out and you want to go somewhere in Hyderabad, okay. So the road is the road map to you, right? So the road is pointed to a specific direction and then you will go. The same way route table also will have a map. So source to destination. So you have to configure it. Okay. So that is route table. The main purpose of the route table is to make a communicate between different networks. Not works, it is networks. Okay. It is also region specific, free of cost. We do not need to delete it and it is going to create an automatically when VPC is created. And we have to attach already. We have discussed in above. Coming to security group. So it is at EC2 instance level at your server level. So we can define some protocols and port numbers that which has to become inside the server and which shouldn't. So like SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, MySQL, all traffic. Okay, like this we can provide the protocols and which one need to be allowed and which one not to be allowed and from where it has to be allowed. So three fields, anywhere in the world or from office location or from any specific device. Okay, so like that we can do it. And it is also region specific, free of cost, do not delete. We are going to give inbound and outbound. So incoming and outgoing. Technical word. Inbound means incoming. Outbound means outgoing. So these are the bulletin points for every component. Let's create a diagram to understand.
Rajni, in subnets there will be public and private subnets, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what is the main difference between them?
Yeah, I'll tell
Exactly.
you. Let me draw a diagram.
Okay.
So this is AWS cloud. Inside it is a VPC. We'll be going to create a subnet. So this is the subnet. This is one more subnet. Let's take an example of one end user. No. So what we left? We left with the security group. Security. Okay, let me take this one. I think I've not added. So let's Just take it as this example. This is not a real icon. Okay. This is IAM. So now, whenever an end user search something in the Google, that is going to comes to first internet gateway. Okay. So this is internet gateway. This internet gateway we will attach with the VPC, and the same internet gateway is going to attach with the route table, and this route table is going to attach with this along with the security group. It is going to attach to the subnet. Inside the subnet we are having availability zones. This is availability zone 1 2. Let me write it. This is 1A. This is 1B. This is 1C. These are the availability zones. Right? AZ 1C, like this. So one of the availability zone, we are creating the EC2 instance. See, this subnet is based on the three availability zones. In the same way, I can get another subnet, that is private subnet. Okay, so let me write it down to identify. One is IGW, and this one is the route table. I'm going to call it as RT, and this is a region. Let's call it as Mumbai region. And I'm going to give this VPC. This VPC as, let's say, my project VPC. Okay, what I'll do, a work labs VPC followed by a CIDR. Okay, so my CIDR will be 10 dot 10 dot 0 dot 0 slash 16. So inside this slash 16, I would like to create more two subnets as sub networks. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I am going to call this subnet as a public subnet followed by 10 dot 10 dot 1 dot 0 slash 24. Don't be confused here. The two octets of my parent VPC is a parent. Okay, 10 10. After that 0 0 are childs. 10 10 1 dot 0, one of the child. Okay, 1 dot 0 slash 24. The range is slash 24. We are just defining a height or a value, you can say. Okay, so this is public one. So I would like to go with the private one. Private. This is second, right? Second child. Okay, so like this up to 255.0 means 254.0 subnets I can create under this VPC. Now under this slash 24 I can create 254 servers. See how big infrastructure it is. Okay, so this is our setup now. So this is, if you're joining into any company, the company is building a project, right? The project will build like this. This is the skeleton. This is the base. VPC, internet gateways, route tables, subnetworks, availability zones, everything is same. Public, private subnets. Okay. So now in public, we'll keep web servers, the front end servers. Okay. And in private, we'll keep databases or private servers. Okay. Is this part clear? This diagram. So I can go and create.
Rajni, the CIDR range is standard. Like you have taken /16/24. Is it
Hmm.
standard or we can define anything?
You can define anything also. If you can give /8, so how many IP
Okay.
addresses? There are around 1 crore, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that is not recommendable. You're taking that many IP addresses, but what you will do? You need only around 20,000 IP addresses. That's enough.
yeah. Yes,
That
yes.
much big dreams are right. So that's why to save the IP addresses, not to confuse. So VPC is basically 8/16 will everyone follow generally because we will be having 65,535 or 36 IP addresses in it. So that is generally we
And
follow. Under
and
this,
in
yeah,
okay, okay. And in public subnet, you have created one A, one B, one C, right?
yeah,
Is there any restrictions? We can create 254 servers, right? In that, as you said.
on three availability zones, you can
Yes.
create 254. Not each one availability zone 254.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Combine,
combined you
combined
can
we
create
can.
because it is a logical boundary, right? Subnet.
Okay,
What you
okay, fine.
combiningly creating a logical boundary.
Okay,
So
fine.
inside this subnets, you have to create 254 servers. So that's how it is. Availability zones are high availability.
Okay,
Okay. So under this last 16, if you keep one is a child and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's your wish. You can keep /24, or if you want only 5 servers, go with /29. If you want more servers, go with /20. But less than this means above the 16, you have to go. If you are going defining here /15, no, it won't work. This is not uh, the good
within
one.
the
Like
range.
yes, incorrect one. It is going to conflict. It will not take that mechanism. Okay, incorrect. So this is the logic we need to apply here in the CIDR. So however, this everything is going to be set it up in your project. If you are showing 5 years of experience and you would like to be create or any POC came to you, the manager is asking you to create. You have to always ask the planning team that what IP address should I follow. Then you have to create. Even if you're creating same IP address like 10.10.1.0/24, to this subnet also you're keeping the same. Both will be conflicted. So it will not give you an access to create. It will tell you, it will give you error. Okay. So it is not going to happen. We need to apply our logic. That means already one is used. We need to use another one. So which one is come in this range? Then we have to go with. So for that we have to use IP calculator. Yesterday I shown you, right? IP calculator. That's it.
Rajani, one question. So, if somebody from your company comes and says like, we have to design, we have to architect a system which is highly available or highly scalable or like very, I mean, according to the client needs. So, how would you ask questions to your client? Like, what is your requirements, and then like, how do you proceed in the real time? Like for what will be the questions? Like first we'll start with IP address range, or what is your like how many clients or users are going to interact with your application? How would you ask the questions?
We will be not going to ask the questions. We will be going to gather the information. So with the client. So
Okay, yeah,
always to the
okay,
clients we
maybe I
won't
wrongly
ask the
said. Yeah,
questions.
please, please,
Okay.
yeah.
So what we will do the first one. So just 2 minutes. I'll explore. I'll give this answer. First, we need to ask the stakeholder or the business analyst or the client what. So what is the environment first? Which environment? Is it a React, .NET, Python? Which programming environment it is? So that is first we need to look into the code
Okay.
because so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it is a React. It is very easy to deploy few things. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
According to the code, we need to plan the next steps. The first one is this one environment. Inside this
Okay.
environment, what we are following? We are following mono or micro, monolithic architecture or microservices architecture. Okay. For monolithic, we can suggest
Okay.
one more type of cloud infrastructure, and we can go with microservice with another type of infrastructure. Okay, so we can uh, configure it. We can give suggest to it. Okay, the second one is, so first it is done, and coming to which provider in the sense, does it go to going with AWS is good, or GCP is the good, or Azure is the good? If it is a .NET, yes, Azure is a good. GCP is also good. AWS is also good. But coming to .NET, so your company is using the previous .NET kind of products. You are already integrated with them. So going with Azure is a
Legacy.
good option.
You mean
Yes.
to say legacy
Yeah,
applications?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Standalone applications are there, right? Many. So for them, we use many Microsoft products. For that, to get the support more, we will go with the Azure. So which provider we have to decide, that one also depends on the, again they are going to be depends on the CTOs, chief technical officers, subject matter experts, and architectures. Okay, and third one, how to create a infra. So creating an infra, it is with IaaS or PaaS or SaaS. Let's say your client is there, and the client is giving you the code, and they're just asking you to deploy. I just they're just giving a front end code. For example, a client came to you and is just given a front end code, and is saying that, hey, I have already database. I don't want to go the database to be on the cloud. I want my front end code to be deployed. So what you will do, you can just deploy something like, you can take a file management like S3, and you can do static applications that can be direct to your database site. You can directly deploy it, or you can take EC2 instance, you can directly deploy on it, and that can connect to your database automatically. So here platform as service will be used. So
Yeah, pass can be taken at that time.
yes,
Okay, got it.
yes. So, or you want to integrate with the more services. The code is available. The code is every time developer is doing changes, and that wants to be automated. You need few services like Lambda. You need few services like pipelines. Those things you can take it out in the software as a service. But the client is
Okay.
expecting on the cloud, that has to be, in coming future he wants to completely move to the cloud side, which is a best way to recommend. In future also it should be there. So IaaS is needed, infrastructure should be created. Okay, so for that we again follow with the same kind of VPC, subnet, everything we will create.
So
Then
we
after,
recommend IAS, but if based on the requirement, we'll say that pass is enough, but we would recommend IAS in the future. That's how we say that, right?
yeah, let's take an
Okay.
example. One digital marketer came, and he wants to just to show up his business. You can take any example, let's say any training institute. Okay, you can take it at my training institute. I have my training institute, and I want to deploy my application. I don't need any database actually. Why would I? I'm just showing this kind of things like where's the courses, schedules, and all other informations. So this is just enough with a static level. So for that, why should I create a VPC? Why should I create a subnet? Why should I go with all the things? I can avail a free tier account. I can deploy on the AWS cloud in the EC2 instance. It's very simple and easy for me. And for EC2 instance also, I'm charging a bit more, like per day I'm charging 70 rupees or 100 rupees. Even though I don't want it, I want to go more below the amount. So I can go with the file management like AWS S3. I can do static hosting. I can just map with the DNS. That's it. I don't need anything. The simplest way to deploy. So like this, we need to take a information from the client. What is the kind of business level he's doing? His application is more dynamic, like Netflix,
Okay.
more or normal. So few customers also there outside. What they want application should be on from morning 7 to night 11. In the nights they don't want actually.
Okay.
See, for them we can do certain kind of configurations in the platform as a service. Okay, So like that
Okay.
we need to plan. So for this all things we need to take information before you going to ask. They already come up with the plans already, but to understand you more from the scratch, I'm telling you.
Yeah, because in the interview they might ask like, how would you gather the information requirements? Like if somebody comes with some requirement. So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to answer this question. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And BA type, okay, business analysis. You have to do business analysis at what kind of it is, what kind of application it is, type, industry type, you can say a pharma, entertainment, gaming, or retail, uh, other we have, right? Same way will be banking, insurance, okay. Banking and insurance both comes under same finance category. So like finance category and other retail category, entertainment
Okay.
category. So we'll be having a categories also. So this is also one of the key point, because if
Okay.
you take a gaming,
Yeah.
users are always into the game. They shouldn't interrupt, right? The traffic is
Yes.
continuous on it.
More. Yeah.
More.
More. Yeah.
Entertainment also same. The user is always there active, right? But
Yeah.
comparatively, if you see other category types, somewhere some point the user is not active all the time. But these two
Mm.
categories when the user is active, so we need to plan a platform for it, a good platform where it cannot interrupt the application. So we need to take a business type also, which business type it is, what is the
Okay.
business hours for it, okay, how much
Okay.
user logins into it and all, okay.
All right.
So then after we need to create an infra. So creating an infrastructure like with the IaaS, creating, yes, created, okay, VPC network, everything I created. But where should I take the code? The code is from the developer, and developer will be having a GitHub or GitLab somewhere, something. We'll check out the code,
SVM.
and that is going to be
SVM.
built, right? So that is going to
Okay.
be built. How it has to build? That is one more concept. How it has to build? Okay, building with the packages with the old method or a new method, which is DevOps method or Docker method. Okay.
Docker containers. Okay.
Okay. So previously, if you can see .NET, right? I think you might aware about .NUPKG packages. .NET will build
Yeah.
that
New
package.
kit packages.
You get
Yeah. New kit
packages.
package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
these packages we going to directly connect to the server. In a Java, if you can take in Java, we'll build the jar packages. And if you don't
Yeah.
want, we
Water.
want any lightweighted, we'll go with var, er, jar packages in the Java. In the same way, in other
Mm.
programming also, Angular ng packages. Okay. Same way,
Got it.
every program will have a package, a kind of package it is going to build. So package, don't be worried. This technical term package in the sense, I'll give you an example. You are sending all your documents when you joined in a company. You HR is asked you to send all your employment and educational documents. So will be going to put all in attachments, but all the attachments are going to be calculated around 50 plus MB. So Gmail is not going to support you to send. So what you will do, you will going to put it in a one folder and you will zip it, right? A zip folder. So zip folder will be only 10 MB. The same kind of 50 MB files you are zipping into the folder with the 10 MB, and you can send that email, right? Same way
Yeah.
here. The code
All
files
the
are all are,
DLs.
yes. The
Okay.
code files are all are having a multiple lines. If you go and build everything, it is going to take a lot of space. Instead of that, you are converting all the dependencies, all the codes, properties, everything into one zip format. That is here we are calling it as packages. Instead of .zip, we are calling it as .nupkg, nugget package. Okay. So that is
Got
a
it.
package. That package we deploy into the server. Okay. Server will understand that package and it will run in the server, and we can able to see that. So, but deploying these packages, we are facing a lot of challenges every time I can't go with the packages. I have multiple packages. How can I do it? I want to make it very lightweighted. So how can I want to move this package from one server to another server easily. How can I? If I
Hmm.
have three more packages, I would like to bind three more packages at one unit. How can I? So like this, we have a few challenges. To overcome those things, we'll go with the Docker method. Docker imaging.
Hmm.
Docker imaging is nothing but keeping all dependency package at one unit and creating a one binary. Image is nothing but a one binary. Okay, and one binary format. So same like if you went to any shop outside, uh, they will give you all 4 5 things related to. Let's take an example. Your friend birthday is there, you went to a bakery and you took one cake. Along with the cake, what you want a cake and that letting spark, right, and other candles and all will be into one cover, right? That cover is your Docker image now. Here cake is again
How
the
the
package.
versions will be maintained here?
Where
Different versions of the software will have different containers then? Every
yeah,
version will have different container?
why will you go with different versions?
See, if we do one enhancement to the system and we push that package again, then what will happen?
Again it will going to create one more container, one more
Yeah,
Docker image.
that's what my question. Yeah, okay.
That is not
Got it.
here. Yeah, you're going to learn those things at CICD. Okay,
Okay,
that is
sure,
going to
sure.
create a new
Let's keep that.
image.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to create a new image. We are going to follow the versioning, means with your previous change, latest change, everything will be stored. Okay,
So yeah,
so
sorry to
yeah,
deviate
no,
you.
no, no
Let's
issue.
continue. Yeah.
Okay, so now then after we'll going to be do deploying into serverless architecture or containerized architecture like Kubernetes or into the servers, VMs. It's up to us to plan the scalability. Kubernetes lightweighted, more scalability. Virtual machines less amount, more, but at scalability point or availability point somewhere we lag into it because we have to be always manual at the VM point. But at Kubernetes point, everything is automated. Serverless deployments again like kind of Lambda we use. And yeah, this is a deployment part. In the deployment we have multiple options here. If it is an Azure app service, other web deployment tools also there like Tomcat, Nginx and all. We'll use them. We'll integrate with the VM, and we can also integrate with the K8s. We can also run separately Docker also. So like this, according to the business type, we need to plan this one. The best way to be go this both options, VM or K8s. So right
Okay,
now everyone is going with the K8s, means Kubernetes. Okay.
sure.
If it is a single solution applications, uh, like kind of Brochill, ShareShat, we are seeing applications in our mobile, right? One more example, a few other same kind of no, little applications. Those applications will go with serverless because they'll get a more less budget. Like that also, even with we can go with the less budget with the VMs. Again, it is going to be we have to do a planning on the each resource. What is the price? What is the cost optimization on it? And then we have to plan and deploy. This is how we need to structure it. And here, if it is a world, multi-region, like let's say all over the world, plan the region, and coming to DNS, we need to do a security things. We need to implement the security tools. So you have to explain
Okay.
all these things to an interviewer. Instead of that, you can just go with the 7 points. The first point is always an important. Second point is important. If you say that is AWS cloud, it will interrupt you damn surely. Hey, that is AWS cloud. Then what is your next steps? Go with these steps. That's it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Let's create the I hope everyone has created AWS account. So let me switch to the Mumbai. Here if you can search VPC. So this is a VPC dashboard now. Okay. So this is VPC. So there will be a one VPC which is always default VPC. If you can see in the left side, this is we call technically blade. Okay. Left side blade, your VPC. See, this is default VPC. VPC ID, CIDR is 16 and tenants is default and default VPC is S means it is default VPC. Okay. So whatever I'm creating now server, it is going to create in this infrastructure. In the same way, I'll be having a default subnets. See, these are all the default subnets. Yes, 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 yes. And default route table. I'm logging into the cloud, right? This console. How I'm directing to it? Route table and internet gateway. Okay, you can see this is route table. See, internet gateway. In the same way, we need to create our own infrastructure, our own space, isolated space. Go to your VPCs. Right side, if you can see, create VPC. It is asking me only VPC you want, or you want VPC with more. Oh, you want to only create this logical boundary, this outside, this one, or you want to create internet gateway, route table, subnets, all. I want to create all. Okay, so VPC more. Right side is giving diagram also. You can see project name. I'll say AI work labs. Okay. CIDR. According to our diagram, what is the CIDR? 10.10.0.0/16. Here it is 10.00. So let me keep one more 10 here. Okay. And it is telling you 65,536 IPs are available. You can see. And so if you come, let is this tenancy will be default. And number of availability zones you want to create here for the subnet. 1, 2, 3. You can see in subnet, in subnet, see public subnet, private subnet, public subnet, private subnet, public subnet, private subnet. See AB South 1A in 1. This subnet is using this data center AWS. I want only one now. Okay. Now number of public subnets is 1, number of private subnets is 1. That means you can see in one subnet, one public subnet, one private subnet, like this. One public subnet, one private subnet. Here what I'm using? I'm using same availability zones, like this. Same availability zones.
Rajnikant, I have one small question. It might be silly. See, let us suppose that one in one virtual network, one VPC. Let us suppose that we have Nike. In the other one, we have Adidas. Okay. The one Nike has chosen 10.10.0.0 by 16. Can Adidas choose 10.10.0.0 as well? Is there would be any conflict?
VPC, whenever same IP address, it is going to conflict.
Conflict, right? Then how
Whatever,
would we know that this IP address has been taken?
whenever you're going to create, it will give you an error. That's how you have to maintain all the IP addresses list in a confidence page. whenever you go and create, you have to look at
Mm-hmm.
over there which IPs are already used, which IPs are not used. You need to calculate and proceed. So you'll be
Oh,
have to take taken care with your confidence document. You have to keep all the things in your document. Where whenever you are the architecture, right? So you whenever you're going to create, you have to check those things.
okay. These things should we ask with the AWS that this has been taken or somebody
If
else?
you are
Like
working
how?
like a DevOps engineer, you should ask the AWS admin guy, AWS engineer. Okay,
Okay, okay, got
even if you want VPC, you can just tell him to create a ticket to him in your company. If you have that guy, tell him to that create a ticket and tell him that create a VPC. But most of the cases, you will be the having an hand in the cloud because you're going to handle the Terraform. Okay, so through the
Oh,
Terraform, you have to plan and provide this IP address. It is going to create automatically in the cloud. So everything
okay,
is in your hand.
all right.
Yeah. Now, if I want two subnets like this, according to our diagram, see, I'll be having subnets and two route tables for my public and my private. Okay, let me, if it is a public and private, I'll tell you what happens here. We'll be going to have one more route table here. Let me keep this. This route table we're going to connect to this subnet, and here this route table we are going to call it as custom route table. I'm going to call it as custom route table, CRT, short form. Okay, so this is completely private. No one cannot access to here. So let's create this one first. If you can see here, we have a network connection. I'll tell you about this. You can see AI Walk Labs and AI Walk Lab VPC. So I don't want S3 as well because it's going to store the logs. If you come down the left side, NAT gateway is none and VPC endpoint none. When you give none, it is bent. You can see. And what I'm going through, NAT gateways. Should I keep it or not? So NAT gateway help us to communicate between this public cloud to this private cloud. Okay, NAT gateway. Okay, so this NAT gateway is always we create on public cloud. We create it on public cloud basically. From here, we're going to connect to the this route table. So what happens whenever this user searching something, it will come to the browser and browser DNS will understand. It will give a broadcast packet to all the DNS other servers. That's how it is come to reach to the internet gateway. From this, the internet gateway will understand that I'm working for this VPC, right? Okay, so if I'm working for this VPC, this request should go to route table because I don't have information of the destination. So this route table will take the information and it will look in the IP addresses. So this application IP address is there or not in me. So if it is there, it will forward to the here. So inside this subnet, in this instance, we are running application, right? And then it is going to open in a reverse way. And this user is want to see something that is like a money value, like net banking, okay? It is a secure information, sensitive information. And whenever he wants to see, so that has to be come through this. We are deployed a MySQL database here in this private subnet. And this is not going to access from the outside here. So some data is there. This data should talk here. So how can I connect this to? So that's how I need to connect a NAT gateway, which will do network address translation, right? So to all these IPs, it will do network address translation. So here, when something has happened, so it is going to communicate with an AD gateway. It will come to this route table. It find in the route table path and it will direct to here. So this request will come here, and this is how this user can see again in the reverse way. So this is the two-tier architecture. Okay, two-tier architecture. One is web, one is database. Connecting in the public and private. Okay, both the cloud manner. Sometimes what happens? Client will not keep the database here. You don't want this. He will keep a database at on-premises here in the physical data center. We need to connect this VPC with this data center. How we can connect with the VPC endpoints. Okay, VPC endpoint. Securely want to connect. We have other connecting methods also, VPNs, site to site, and other point to point, IPsec, like this. We can also use them, or we can also directly connect with the AWS Sync or AWS Direct Server. We have other options also to connect like this. So here you don't want this database here. Client is keeping already database here. Everything is configured. You don't want. He is not having a time to move here in the private subnet. So whatever the application is deployed, we have to provide connection string to here, and that has to communicate through VPC endpoint to here, and this has to come to like this. This is how it will structure two-tier architectures. Okay, no one will not tell you this outside. They just go with this the blah blah subnet and VPC, but actually in real time, this is the connections. Okay, so
Rajesh, so definitely we have to create public subnet, right? Without public
ye-
subnet, we cannot access private subnet, right?
yes, we cannot.
See, for example, we have
Yes,
three subnets. We can create three public subnets, but not three private subnets, right?
we can create private subnet directly. Directly we
Directly.
can create.
Then it will be not secured, right?
Uh,
Without public
no, no,
subnet.
no. What happens? You can create, but you're not having an options to log in. So if you want to log in, you have to go with AWS SSM, Session Manager, or you want to configure ETL tools. Like if it is a database here, you deployed in the private subnet, you have to connect with the SSMS tool or Workbench. We have a tools, right, to connect the database ETL tools. So with those tools, you have to connect. That is going to possible. So why
If
we
you
go
have
with the public for web servers? We'll go.
okay, okay, fine. A private
For
subnet is like more secured way, right?
yes, more secure. If you don't want to expose something outside, that will be private always. Like databases, storage accounts. These are the sensitive information we are going to keep it, right. So for that we'll create a private subnets. But
Okay,
always for front end applications will be on the web. Like web in the sense public subnets.
okay.
Hmm? So this is how the first two direct. Whenever whoever in any of the interview, anyone if you ask, can you just tell me two-tier architecture? Just go with this example directly. One public subnet, one private subnet. If we ask without private subnet, can't I make two-tier architecture? Yes, you can. What you'll do? You can create one more database here, connect to it. Without creating a database, can I can't make a two-tier architecture? Yes, you can. In the same server, you can run database and you can install your application. This is also possible in the same single server. The concept of two-tier application is one front end, one database. Okay, so that you can
So the
implement like this.
static application and the two-tier application will be one and the same, right?
Yeah,
All right.
like this. So, so this is actually a base. Let's create this one. So then I can explain you more. So now let me go with the two and come down and create VPC. That's it. It will go and create in just 2 minutes. View VPC. That's it. My VPC is created. If you click on your VPCs, you can see this is my VPC. The name in your companies also the name will be the same. They will give development VPC, test QA VPC, UAT VPC, like this, or admin VPC. They'll give different name. In some companies they'll give their naming convention like any code, short forms. Okay. If you can see this is default VPC. No, this is not a default VPC. It is R VPC. Okay. And it is having a class 16. 10.10.10.0.0 is a private IP. If you can remember the range, there is a private IP. Okay. So if you can see subnets, I have my two subnets. You can see automatically name came public and private. Okay. And coming to route table, I'll be having one route table, public and private. Okay. Internet gateway will be the one. Work labs IGW internet gateway. Okay. Now I want to create my server. Click on EC2. Click on running instances or instances. Launch instance right side. So this is my instance dashboard. So I can give it as web server, and I want to go with the Ubuntu operating system. Always remember, in production Ubuntu we will use, no Linux. Linux is for just testing purpose, for other UAT purpose, or sorry, POC purpose we will do. But more we use Red Hat and Ubuntu. Okay. And server configuration t2.micro I'm going with it. Key pair again, as we discussed in the last time. So I'm going to take my key pair. Now see, this is the main part at where you want to create your instance. So edit, here I can see my A worklab VPC. You have to select this. Now this is your, it's completely isolated. If you can log in to same account, so with a different ID, with your, if you are IAM user, you can't see her. See,
Rajani, what is the life cycle of this key pair? Lifetime. Like how many days that will be there without
until
expiring?
yeah, until the public key at your cloud and the private key at your laptop, it's lifetime.
Lifetime. Okay.
Okay. When AWS is not done any new changes in the key pair system, until that it is valid.
All
Okay.
right.
Now I have selected VPC. Coming to subnet, this particular server, where do I want to deploy? In my public or in my private? Where I want to. Okay. You can see. Okay. So I'll go with the public now. And auto assigning public IP I'll be enabled because I need a public IP addresses. And security group, I'm going to select all traffic from anywhere it can allow. That's it. And 8 GB storage to my server. Launch instance. It is one instance only. Okay. Server is created. If you can check, let this get ready. The server is up and running. If I check this box, I'll get the details in the down. If you can see, private IP address 1010 after 1010 14.59. Okay, so I think I forgot to mention this IP addresses again, so it went in the default way. There's VPC given 1010 I have given, then after it is going with the 1000. Oh, 1000, not 10.10.1.0. Okay, fine. So now what happening? I forgot to mention subnet IP address 10.10.1.0/24. Okay, if I come to my subnets, what is the IP address will it has already took? See, 10.10.0.0/20. That is already default IP address there. I forgot to change it actually. When I think we are in some this discussion, if you are creating, you can also try it out. And tomorrow also we are going to create same kind of architecture. I'll tell you. Instead of this one, 10.10.1.0 we can provide. Here you can see it is taking /20. Here it is taking 128/20. It's randomly took. How come it is taking a randomly? How come it is taking randomly? Who is giving, who is allocating this IP addresses first? So this is happening through the DHCP sets actually. Dynamic host protocol. DHCP configuration protocol. DORA process also we can call it as. So this is the process you can see right side. This is how your mobile is connecting to your Wi-Fi automatically because of this process. Because this process will allocate a random IP address from a pool, from a number of IP addresses. It will pick one IP address. It will give it to you randomly. So this is DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So that works here actually. Here. Where I'll show you DHCP sets. From this set, it is going to give us an IP address. Interview question. If you are giving an interview on AWS DevOps job, if the candidate is asking you more on the networking part, Terraform and networking, he will ask. Where are we? Yeah. Now it automatically took 10.10.14.59. So this is the private IP address of this server. So I have two IP addresses. One is public, one is private. Public IP is given by AWS for random use. Okay. We need to get internet access. We can also take the permanent one with elastic IP address. It is elastic IP address. We'll cover that one also. EIP. So why I need to use two? Basically, why? Private IP is always for intranet communication. Intranet, see, I have multiple servers here, 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 here. In the same way, I have private subject. I have multiple servers here, 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 here. And AWS engineer at the data center, he want to do something. How he will going to identify a server with an IP address, right? And we are also one engineer. We are working in this company. How I need to identify a server with IP address? But I'm having both the IP addresses. What if it is a private subnet? What if it is a private subnet? Then I shouldn't have a public IP addresses. Then how can I? With private IP. Private IP is used to communicate between the servers inside the data center. Here. So this is intranet we will say. In our network we need to connect to a server. Public is it's our wish. You want to use or don't use. But without private IP address, it is not possible. You have to allocate one IP address to it to identify. That is private IP address. Every system has to go with one private IP. Okay.
So in three-tier architecture, so business logic layer will communicate with the database layer using this private IP.
This one is going to communicate here through this NAT IP. Here, this NAT will be one IP, public IP. And in this private subnet, you might have 100 private subnets, private IP addresses. The single IP will forward all internet features to this 100 IPs.
Okay. And why do we need to communicate within the like private servers? Like how, like what is the scenario?
What is the scenario? I didn't get this one.
No, no, no. Like you said that internally, this there are multiple private servers. I mean, there are servers which will communicate privately with that private IP address, right?
Yeah. So
So
say
what is the name? Yeah.
let's understand. You are okay. For example, we all Telugu people went to Bangalore. Okay, so Bangalore is a AWS cloud. So Bangalore will talk Kannada language, and I want to communicate. That is, whenever you want to talk with Kannada people, so you have to make sure to connect with a medium. So that medium could be a Kannada language or English language, with which they know. Like you can take it that example as a public IP. Okay, now
Okay.
among them, you want to communicate with the only Telugu candidate. So you want to speak something internally. So you need a Telugu language, right, in between. So you have an one address that is Telugu language, and you want to speak with another candidate securely. So that is also having a one address that is Telugu language. So you both are communicating privately. Here also same.
Okay. Similar servers. Okay.
Yeah. See, not a similar service, different service, whatever. It is in the same network, right? It is your network in the private. So it is
Okay.
intranet. It has to communicate this service here. If you are using
Okay.
Ansible and you want to update the lot of
Okay. Okay.
packages,
Okay. Understood. Understood. Understood.
yeah,
Yeah.
you need IP address. Others also got this answer, or you have any confusions on it?
So that
Clear.
those intranet servers will have different applications deployed, and then if you want to patch up or something through the Ansible, then that will send this request to all of them, right? At one time, like updating that those servers.
Don't go for the application. Again, application inside the server. First, let's at
Yeah,
server level only. Server
yeah,
level,
server
that
level.
could be
Yeah,
the same
that's
application, different, whatever. But I need
yeah,
a
yeah.
server to server communication.
Got it.
Okay,
Makes sense. Like
that is
yeah.
private.
All right.
Where am I? Yeah, yeah. Here is my easy to install. Now, so this is for my internal communication. If I search this IP address here, I won't get anything because there's no ability to search in the internet to get the internet access to the private IP. Okay, let's search with the public IP. So I won't get anything because nothing is enabled in my server. Now what happening? The communication is hitting to my server. This is still loading and it has resolved in just few seconds, and it is telling me that I'm not able to reach anything. The IP address server is refused to connect to me. I am reaching to the server based on the protocol 443. See here. So this is 443 means HTTPS, HTTP. It is reaching. So it is refusing me. I should install something inside the server to accept this request. Let me connect to the server. Connect SSH client and copy this. Open CMD. Yesterday someone I think Sai Kumar, you have asked, right, why to use CMD.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you use mobile extreme and yeah, let me tell you. Now I given this command and I'm logging into my server. Okay. Instead of this, previously we used to use putty. Putty is now we need to every window we have to open a new window for it. Every server to log in or duplicate, you need to open multiple windows for it. So which is very clumsy to you and too messy. And like other trainers also telling outside in the YouTube and wherever you see mobile extreme. Now I logged in and I have run some logs here. I am debugging my application error, something like this. And after 20 minutes, this connection is going to vanish. Actually, this connection is no longer to stay. At least 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hardly 20 minutes, it is going to stay active. If you not give any command or if you're not running anything, after 20 minutes, it's going to be disconnect to your server. So at that time, you disconnected, right? And you are in middle of the work and you went for a lunch or you went to a washroom or you went for a tea and you came back and you want to resume your debugging and the connection lost. You can't see the logs in mobile exchange. And you want to see the logs and you again logged into the server. No, it won't show you. Nothing, you lost it there. Again, you have to perform the same thing. Again, you have to run all the commands. A biggest disadvantage, it shouldn't happen in a terminal. Okay, so that's why in Mac we use a terminal because that is having more specification like this, and Windows 11 came up with the same option. Windows 10 also we have the same thing. So always go with the CMD.
Here we can use
Advantage.
all commands, right?
Hmm.
Like we here we in CMD we can use all the commands, right? Like if you want to change the what
Yes, you
for
can.
example ch mode 400 ch mode
Yeah, you
600 like
can
that.
use WSL, which is Windows with Linux. Then it can going to support all your Linux commands, or you can use Git Bash also. But Git Bash again having in it one more this thing. You can't paste it actually directly. You can CMD is good enough. Everything you have to know the settings. If you know the settings, everything is enough. In your company, when you logged
So
in, they will ask you to set up CMD with the CLI configurations like AWS CLI, Azure CLI, GCP CLI, Kubernetes CLI. You have to do it from the command line only, like CMD only. Don't go for any tools. It's more than enough. CMD
so
is enough.
so we want to use all the commands, we have to download the WSL, right?
Yes,
In
it's
our
going to support all the commands. Whenever it is not supported, you have multiple components of CMD for Windows. Let's say if something is not working for you, you have a brew. Brew is for Mac, I think. Chocolatey. Chocolate. So this is the tool which help you to install all the Windows packages for CMD packages. Anything. Chocolatey will support you. For Mac people, you can do brew. Brew. Okay. This brew will help you to install all CLI. You can see it is telling you a software package management system simplifies the installation software apps and operating system in a Mac as well as Linux like this. Now let me see. So whenever you log into any server, you need to do the first option is update the server packages. apt update. I need to go sudo su and then apt update. It is going to update. Minute. So One minute. Sorry. Uh, I have updated the packages, right? What I'm into public IP is not reachable. So yeah, same way. In the first class we followed, right? So I need to install something like Apache. Install Apache 2-y. So when it is installed, and let me see, automatically it is opening my Ubuntu welcome page, and my private IP will not resolve because it's not having an ability to process the internet feature. But here public IP will have, and the server we have installed, right? We have installed package, right, Apache. So it is going to accepted the request. Previously it is refused the request. So this is how it will work. In this page, what this document is saying, Apache to default page. Okay, if you want to do some configuration overview, so you can actually do something in this Apache 2. Okay, so you can find this document readme.debian in GitHub actually for Apache 2. But you want to do something like you want to install any static application. If you read out this document, it will clearly tell you that you should replace the file located at var www.html index.html before continuing to operate your HTTP server. Okay, so here we need to do some changes. So instead of this a page, I can give any name. Okay, if you come and you can do vi, give it. I don't want to use this ggvd. Escape ggvd. Okay, let me do it like this. Command not working. Go to this path. You see index.html is there, right? So I am going to delete this. That's it. No, I'm going to create one more file, index.html, and here I can give. Okay, escape colon escape colon wq exclamation mark. If I come here and refresh, it's printing what I've given message over there, right? You can also search this IP address in your mobile. That is going to show the same thing. So here the HTML CSS files will work. Okay. Give me a minute. Yeah. So it is loading our static things, the server. So this is how the request is coming. The request is coming like this, the same way. So we discussed, right? What if I break this connection? Does it works? What if I they break this connection or this connection? Does it works or not? So let's see.
No.
I'm going to break the connection here or here. How can I break? I'll go to my cloud, VPC, route tables. This is my route table, right? Public route table. Select it, and here you can see routes, edit routes. What it is allowing 0.0.0 from anywhere. See, and here what I'm going to do, I will going to remove my subnet or my internet connection to it. So what I'm going to do, I'll going to do remove this internet connection, save it, and come here, refresh. It will not resolve. To give you can't be reached. See, you can't because the server is in your network. You have to enable, you have to configure. If it is a default, however it is going to be. Okay, so I need to go again here, route tables, edit routes. I need to provide from somewhere, add route, here, internet gateway. Here you have to provide local internet gateway. Save this. Okay, internet gateway has to be selected, AF work labs. Save this. Automatically it comes. See. So this is how. If you break these things, it is not going to work for your project. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Clear.
Yeah. So the deletion process, first in your account, do it first, delete your instance, terminate instance. Once it is completely deleted, then you can delete your VPC.
So Rajni, if we delete the instance, so all the associated resources also will get deleted.
No, no.
I
If
mean
you can,
services. It won't, right?
yeah, it won't. If you can see here, the things are there already. Now, once the instance is deleted, then you have to delete the VPC. Okay. First, if you're trying to delete the VPC, it's not going to, because the instance is attached. Now you can give delete VPC. Select your VPC and delete VPC. It is giving VPC. Now you have to give the delete word here and delete. When it is going to delete all the things now, what are all associated with the VPC is going to delete. Deleting.
All right.
Okay. Now default only there you can see. Okay. That's it. Any questions, doubt?